Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Aloha Press Show. My name is JC, and this is Wager Wednesday.
I don't think you should be doing too much gambling.
Who said anything about gambling? It's not gambling when you know you're going to win.
Wait till I get my money right.
I mean, let's get real. It is TPC Sawgrass Players Championship. I mean, we are about to embark on the biggest tournament? Is it the biggest tournament? No, it's absolutely not. It's the biggest tournament in the sense of the money that's involved in this particular tournament. They have bumped up the purse from $15 to $20 million that they're giving out this week. And you gotta wonder and you gotta think, in everything that's going on in the world, God, this is a weird week. I mean, the Players Championship just has a knack for attracting crazy bad shit. If you don't remember, a couple years ago, Players was the last sporting events allowed to be played before a pandemic hit. They shut it down after, I think it was Hideki who shot like a 63 and was leading the damn tournament. But you got to think and you got to realize that this is not a major championship. Is it a big week for the PGA Tour? Absolutely. It's their Super Bowl, and I congratulate that. I get excited about watching the Players Championship. You know what you're going to get? It's a golf course that at times looks really hard, looks challenging. I've heard it's a blast to play. I mean, you've got some of the nuances with the actual tournament, but when we look at this particular event and the banter that's going to be shoved down our throat to try and make this the fifth major, that's when I get a bit turned off. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy every moment of it, especially this week. You know why? Because before we get into our picks, we've got weather. And I love weather. I love giving these guys a little twist. And sure enough, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is going to be a little crispy out there. It's going to be a little wet. It's going to be a little wet in the pants, a little wet in the shorts. It's going to be a little muddy. And this place always plays muddy. I mean, I don't know how. I don't know. I mean, it hasn't rained in Florida in weeks. But somehow this week, we're going to be blessed with a little... just a little, adversity. These players are going to be, doing what they got to do. So who's going to fester? Who's going to miss the cut? Who's making the cut? Who's making the top 10 and who's winning this week? And that's what we're going to give you right now. So let's kick it off. The first and foremost, the guy who's making the cut, the guy that's going to get it done this week is a guy who recently won. Surprisingly, he's not favored this week, which shocked me. Sepp Straka out of Austria, the Valdosta, Georgia boy. I mean, this guy lives and is from essentially like, not from this country, but where he lives in Valdosta. It's like a couple hours north of Jacksonville or wherever the hell this tournament is. It's just a couple hours north of it. And you got to think, this guy won a tournament and he's sitting at freaking plus 28,000. You gotta like your odds when you take a guy like that who's playing great golf, and he's gonna play it in an atmosphere that's, you gotta be long, you gotta be accurate with those irons, and you gotta putt halfway decent. And I like him this week to make the cut. Now, let's get to our top 10. I went a little different. I went down a road that was just, I don't want to say unconventional, but this platform, this atmosphere, a guy who has not played particularly well, but I think for the money, I think he's going to make a top 10. I think you could easily make a few dollars, maybe not in the stock market, but maybe this weekend out at TPC Sawgrass. I'm going with Jon Rahm, a top 10 at plus 1,300. You got to love the odds. Plus, he is fighting to keep his number one world ranking in the world. He's going to be battling against a couple guys. Colin Morikawa, I'm sure Scotty Scheffler, and I don't know who else. But let's get to the winner. The winner, chicken dinner. And then we will get to the guy who's going to miss by miles. I'm going with, sure enough, Brooksy Koepka. Winner, chicken dinner. If you're watching this on YouTube, I try to put some emojis, and apparently the emojis don't like YouTube. Anyways, sitting at plus 4,800, I like Brooks Koepka. And the reason why I like Brooks Koepka so much is that he's never won here, but he's played particularly well. He's played well in difficult conditions. And I think this weekend with the conditions of just the weather, the pure difficulty of the actual golf course. But also, I think he's got that fiery edge back. And I think he's shown it recently in these last couple months. I think he's ready to come out and just get a victory. And I think this high dollar, pressure packed week at TPC Sawgrass, I think he wants to chase it. The guy loves money. And if you love money and you love playing great golf, you love playing golf in Florida, Brooks Koepka is your guy. He checks all those boxes. Now, a guy who's absolutely you want to stay away from, I mean, this guy, treat him like, I can't even go there. I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm just saying, like, treat this guy like you just got it. It's like a guy yelling shank, okay? You just stay away from him, all right? It's the guy who just shanked it into your back of your head. You just don't want to be near it. And that man is sure enough Webb Simpson. He is going to swing and a miss. He has not been seen since the Sony Open. I don't give a shit what the odds are. I think he's sitting at like, I can't believe I didn't put that there. It's he's not sitting great. He's one of those guys that's sitting in a particular spot that doesn't. I mean, it's just too easy at plus 9,000 for a guy who has not been out on the tour for months, claiming, I don't know if he's been suspended. I don't know what's going on because the PGA Tour doesn't disclose any of this shit, which we will cover. But you got to think. A guy like Webb Simpson, been gone for a couple weeks. He's a no-go. He's a swing and a miss. So those are your picks. I appreciate you sticking around for Wager Wednesday. But also, we're not done there. This is a big week. This is a big week in the sense of a lot of news is coming out. A lot of inspiration and comical stuff that's just hitting the fan. And sure enough, the PGA Tour commissioner comes out and just kind of spills nothing. I mean, he pretty much says, like, we're putting to bed the whole, this magical league that popped up. We're done talking about it. Some of the best players in the world have come out and said we're not in support of it. We're not going down that road, which was pretty typical. I mean, the news was supposed to break this week of who was going to be partaking in the Saudi Arabia Golf League. And we haven't had that. We haven't that pop up yet. And when it does, we will react to it. But Jay Monahan's comments ultimately weren't very interesting. And it was kind of the common talk that's been talked about for the last couple of weeks in the sense of like, hey, we're going to suspend you if you don't stick with us, which is kind of weird. But he did talk about Phil Mickelson. He did address some of those things. He did not go into details in regards to if Phil Mickelson has been suspended, but he has said that Phil Mickelson had not reached out to him. They had not had any communication, but he is waiting his phone call. Jay Monahan got pressed for some more information, and he said, "Listen, I just don't know." And to be honest, it was kind of lame. Anyways, but other news: Tiger Woods is being indoctrinated into the World Golf Hall of Fame. I don't know who the hell thought that was newsworthy. We know this. Why? They did it with Phil Mickelson way too freaking early. Okay, before he was 50. The guy's on his way to make a comeback. And I get it. You want to bring up your ratings with Tiger Woods. You want to get him back into the game of golf because the ratings have not been great. The Arnold Palmer Invitational was not a great showing. It was the worst ratings in the 25-year history that this thing had been ranked, which is a bit scary because the top 10 guys in the world are like under 30. And you would think that you'd be real positive about where the game of golf is going, but you got to think there isn't that guy who's just fiery. There's not a guy who immediately draws me to the television like a Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson. And you're putting one of them in the Golf Hall of Fame this week. A little sad, a little something that you need to keep track of. Another couple things in the game of golf. Kevin Na will not be playing this week. He is joining he's joining his wife because they're going to be apparently have another child, which that is amazing. I have not confirmed that Kevin Na will be playing for the Saudis. I have no clue. I don't know if that was just an excuse. I can only guess that he is withdrawing because what he actually said, his wife is actually might be giving birth, which is congratulations to him. Now, Roy McIlroy. It seems like he is just, drawn the commentator's hat. And you think, Rory McIlroy, I mean, a guy who has not won a major championship in quite a while. I mean, he's getting a little long in the tooth. And a guy who likes to speak his mind, which I appreciate. But at the same time, he brought up a couple points. He thought that the PGA Tour is a great job in the business sense. They've raised a bunch of money. The players are getting paid more, which is definitely prevalent. But he also brought up something that I thought was rather interesting. He thought the PGA Tour needed to be a bit more transparent in regards to injuries and some of the things like suspensions and bans from the actual tour. And I like that. I actually liked what he said. And, to be quite honest with you, it's just one of those things that golf has always played like really close to the chest with some of the details that, that they just don't release. And how do I bet on golf? How do I give you folks who are listening to Wager Wednesday accurate information on how to go all in and make some money, how to make some money to do smart things with it, like blow it in Vegas or blow it at the Aloha Press Classic? You got to think this is going to change, I would assume. Now, with that being said, guys, I really appreciate you sticking around. Thanks for joining us here on Wager Wednesday. As always, pay the fee. Pay the fee. That's all I ask. All you got to do is hit the subscribe, the like, and the little bell notification. So when we release some type of video like this, and if you enjoy this content, which we produce Wager Wednesday every single Wednesday, you're notified. You're aware. But do one better. I read this quote, and I'm gonna butcher it. But the person said, like, so some guy was critiquing another content creator, and the guy who's been working real hard, pumping out content, and his buddy goes, what, are you famous yet? And the content creator looks at him and goes, have you shared my shit? So that's my challenge to you. If you enjoy what we're doing here at the Aloha Press, do me a favor. Share it with a friend, a father, a grandmother, someone who needs to spark up their ass on Wednesday to get you motivated for the PGA Tour event or whatever event we're going to be celebrating and watching this week. So with that being said, guys, as always, hit bombs, attack pins, and Aloha Press, and we will catch you next week. And we got a special announcement, which I'm rather excited about. So stick around. Appreciate it, guys. And as always, we'll talk to you in a couple days.
I don't think you should be doing too much gambling.
Who said anything about gambling? It's not gambling when you know you're going to win.
La la, wait till I get my money right.